My friends, I want to speak to you today with a burden in my spirit, and I don't apologize for the weight of it, because some messages are not meant to tickle your mind. They are meant to rescue your destiny. I've come to talk about purpose, and I mean the original intent of God for your life. Because until you know purpose, you cannot understand life. And when you misunderstand life, you abuse it. And the tragedy of our generation is not that people are dying, everybody dies. The tragedy is that people are dying full of songs they never sang, books they never wrote, businesses they never built, prayers they never dared to pray, children they never raised in the fear of God, ministries they never started, inventions they never released, love they never gave. And I want you to hear me carefully. Heaven does not measure your life by your years. Heaven measures your life by your assignment. The question is not how long did you live. The question is, what did you do with what God put in you? Because you are not a body with a spirit. You are a spirit living in a body sent to earth on a mission. Jeremiah heard God say, before I formed you, I knew you. I set you apart. That means you were known before you were born, planned before you had a name, designed before you had an opinion. So if God pre-knew you, then you cannot be an accident. You are a solution. You are a divine idea wrapped in skin. And when God sends an idea to earth, he expects a return on his investment. Look at your neighbor. No, don't talk to them. Just look at them and realize you are sitting next to somebody's answer. But the enemy of your answer is not death. The enemy is delay. The devil doesn't have to kill you if he can distract you, if he can paralyze you, if he can make you postpone what God told you to produce. That is why Moses had to hear God say, why are you crying to me? Tell the people to move forward. In other words, God is not impressed by your tears if your feet won't obey. Some of you have been in a season of prayer, but you have not been in a season of action. And I came to announce to you, the era of postponement is over. The cemetery is calling your name, trying to collect on your potential, and I'm here to cancel that contract. Because when Jesus said, I came that you might have life and have it more abundantly, he was not talking about mere existence. He was talking about overflowing purpose. So today, I'm going to take you on a journey, not to scare you, but to wake you up. I want to shake you until the gift in you sits up. I want to disturb you until you decide to be who you were born to be. And by the time we are done, my prayer is that you will make a vow before God. I will not leave this earth with heaven's property still locked inside of me. Say that in your spirit. I will not die full. Because purpose is the reason for life. And if you don't know why you were born, you will spend your whole life doing what is convenient instead of what is necessary. But if you do know purpose, then even your pain has meaning. Even your storms have direction. Even your delays become training. So open your heart and let the Holy Spirit search your destiny today, because we are about to step into a truth that can change the rest of your life. Now let me take you a little deeper, because if you don't feel this, you will forget it. I want to make a statement that sounds strange until it becomes your salvation. The richest place on this earth is not the stock market, not the oil fields, not the diamond mines, not the banks, not the mansions on the hills. The richest place on earth is the cemetery. Yes, the graveyard. Why? Because buried in the ground are untapped treasures of human potential. In cemeteries lie dreams God whispered that were never obeyed. In cemeteries lie visions that visited people in the night but were dismissed in the morning. In cemeteries lie inventions that would have healed nations, songs that would have delivered generations, books that would have unlocked minds, businesses that would have employed thousands, ministries that would have turned cities back to God, and all of them died inside somebody. The ground is loaded with gifts that never got a chance. And I want you to understand, when God created you, he did not put you here empty. He loaded you. He packed you with ability, with ideas, with spiritual potential, with skill, with passion, with a calling. That's why David could say, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. In other words, you are not a random arrangement of atoms. You are a deliberate divine design. And if you are designed, you must have purpose. But here is the danger. Potential is like a seed. A seed looks small, but inside that seed is a forest. Inside that seed is furniture, houses, paper, oxygen, fruit. But if the seed never goes into the ground properly, if it never dies to become what it contains, then all that future stays trapped. Jesus said it best, unless a grain of wheat falls into the ground and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it produces much. You see, death is not your enemy. Unfulfilled potential is your enemy. That's why the cemetery is rich, because it is full of seeds that never died in obedience, never broke open in faith, never became harvest for the world. And may I say this to you plainly, God never gives you a gift for selfish storage. God gives you a gift for generational service. Your talent is not a toy, it is a tool. Your ability is not for applause, it is for assignment. You are a problem solver sent to a planet full of problems, and every time you delay your purpose, you prolong somebody else's pain. There are people waiting for what you are carrying. There are children waiting for the father you haven't become yet. There are communities waiting for the leader you keep postponing. There are souls waiting for the message you won't open your mouth to speak, and if you die with it, they never get it. That's why Paul said, I have fought the good fight, I have finished my course. Notice he didn't say I survived, he said I finished. He completed what heaven sent him to do. And that is the standard, not survival, completion. So I am warning you with love. Don't live a life that ends in regret. Don't live a life of postponement. Don't live a life where at the end you say, I wish I had tried. Listen, the only tragedy worse than failing is never attempting. Failure can be forgiven, but never trying becomes a permanent funeral. And I don't want your funeral to be a deposit into the cemetery's bank. I want your funeral to be a withdrawal, empty pockets, empty spirit, empty hands, because you poured it all out. Jesus himself showed us this, because before he left the planet, he could say, it is finished. Finish what? Finish his assignment. Finish what the Father sent him to do. That means the highest achievement in life is not achievement, it is fulfillment. If you become rich and never fulfill purpose, you are a poor man with money. If you become famous and never fulfill purpose, you are a popular failure. But if you fulfill purpose, even if your name is never known, heaven calls you successful. So today, I want you to make a decision right now. The cemetery will not profit from you. The graveyard will not get your song. The graveyard will not get your book. The graveyard will not get your ministry. The graveyard will not get your business. The graveyard will not get your dream. You will die empty. You will leave this planet having done what you were born to do. And if you will settle that in your heart, then you are ready for the next truth. Now, let me bring order to your thinking, because confusion about purpose is the mother of frustration. You cannot live right until you think right. And the first thing you must understand is this divine law. Purpose always precedes production. In other words, before anything was made, it was first intended. God never creates something and then wonders what to do with it. He never made you and then said, let me find a job for this one. No. Purpose is conceived before the product is released. That's why Jeremiah could hear God say, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I sanctified you and ordained you. Notice the order: knew, sanctified, ordained, and then formed. That means your life was not an afterthought of heaven. You were on God's mind before you were in your mother's body. So if God thought you before he formed you, then your purpose is older than your birth. Your reason for living is not something you invent down here. It is something you uncover from up there. Let me say it another way. You do not decide why a product exists. The manufacturer decides. If you want to know the purpose of a thing, you don't ask the thing, you ask the maker. That is why the world is full of people who are trying to discover themselves by asking themselves, how do I feel? What do I like? What do people think? But feelings are not manufacturers, and people are not creators. If I want to know the purpose of this microphone, I don't interview the microphone. I go to the company that made it and I read the manual, because the manual is the mind of the manufacturer captured in words. So let me tell you the truth that will set you free. The Bible is not a religious book first, it is a purpose manual. It is the manufacturer's instructions for his product. That's why David said, your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Why? because it shows you where you came from, why you are here, and where you must go. And if you don't consult the manual, you will misuse yourself. And whenever you misuse a product, you abuse it. Abuse is not hatred. Abuse is using a thing for what it was not designed to do. So when you live without purpose, you are abusing your life. You are using your days as toys instead of tools. You are spending your energy on what is popular instead of what is eternal. Now hear this carefully. The safest place in life is in the will of God. Because the will of God is the original purpose of God, and purpose is the key to fulfillment. That's why Jesus at 12 years old could say, did you not know that I must be about my Father's business? He wasn't talking about carpentry. He was talking about assignment. He had a sense of destiny. He knew there was something he had to do that nobody else could do. And when you find that must, your life changes. When you find that must, you stop drifting. When you find that must, you stop living casual. The most powerful word in a purpose-driven life is must. I must write this. I must build this. I must forgive. I must start. I must serve. And you will never live with must until you meet your maker and ask him, why am I here? Because purpose is not found in a place. It is found in a person. So I'm telling you today, stop letting your environment name you. Stop letting your past define you. Stop letting your pain interpret you. You are not what happened to you. You are what God intended for you. Your history may explain you, but it must never imprison you. God did not create you to just make a living. He created you to make a difference. And when you understand the manufacturer's law, you start asking better questions. Not what do I want, but what am I sent for? Not what is convenient, but what is required. Not how can I be safe, but how can I be significant? Because true success is not the pursuit of things. True success is the pursuit of purpose. Jesus said, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added. He didn't say chase the things. He said chase purpose, and provision chases you. That is kingdom order. And that means your first responsibility is to discover your assignment, because a man is poorest not when he has no money, but when he has no purpose. A man is most frustrated not when he has no job, but when he has no direction. So if you will settle this law in your spirit, that purpose came before you, that God's intent is your identity, that the manual is your map, then you are ready to confront the enemy that keeps people dying full. Now, let's talk about the enemy of your purpose, because if you don't identify it, you will keep wrestling with shadows while your future bleeds out. Most people assume the enemy is oppression, or poverty, or lack of opportunity, or some government, or some family background, or some demon in the night. But I have learned a painful truth. The greatest enemy of purpose is not external, it is internal. It is delay, it is convenience, it is fear. And those three are spiritual assassins. They don't come to kill your body first. They come to kill your courage. They don't come to stop your breathing. They come to stop your birthing. Delay is a deception. Delay whispers you have time. Delay says not now, later. Delay tells you to wait for the perfect season when God is waiting for your obedience in this season. But hear me, time is not your servant. Time is your judge. And time does not stop because you are scared. You don't own tomorrow. James said it best. You do not know what will happen tomorrow. For what is your life? It is a vapor that appears for a little time and then vanishes. A vapor. That means life is not long. Life is leased. And you are accountable for the lease. That's why the enemy loves delay, because delay makes you casual. And a casual man will bury his gift. Convenience is another trap. Convenience makes you worship comfort. Comfort says, stay where you are safe. Stay where you are familiar. Stay where you are applauded. But purpose rarely lives in comfort. Purpose lives in obedience. Jesus didn't die in a comfortable place. The cross was not convenient. The Garden of Gethsemane was not convenient. Yet he said, not my will, but yours be done. In other words, purpose is expensive. And if you are addicted to convenience, you will never pay the price. You want the harvest without the seed dying. You want the crown without the cross. You want the promise without the process. But the kingdom doesn't work that way. The kingdom is built on principles, not preferences. And then there is fear, the most subtle enemy of destiny. Fear is not a feeling. Fear is a spirit. Paul told Timothy, God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. So when fear shows up, it didn't come from heaven. Fear shows up to make you doubt the manufacturer. Fear says, what if you fail? Fear says, what if people laugh? Fear says, what if you step out and you lose everything? Fear says, what if you succeed and you outgrow everyone around you? Fear talks and questions because fear has no facts. It survives on imagination. And the tragedy is not that fear comes to everybody. The tragedy is when fear becomes your counselor. When fear becomes your advisor, you start negotiating with your calling. You start editing what God told you to do. You start shrinking your dream until it fits your ego. But purpose will never fit your ego. Purpose fits your assignment. Let me show you something from Scripture. In Matthew 25, Jesus told a story about a man who gave talents to his servants. One received 5, one received 2, one received 1. The ones with 5 and 2 went and invested, multiplied, produced. But the one with 1 did something terrible. He dug a hole and buried the talent. And when the master returned, the servant said, I was afraid. Fear is the reason he buried his gift. Not laziness, first fear. And the master did not say, oh, I understand. He said, you wicked and lazy servant. Why? Because fear is not an excuse in the kingdom. Fear is an enemy to be conquered. If you bury what God gave you, heaven calls it wickedness because you are robbing the world of what it needs. Now listen to me carefully. You cannot defeat delay, convenience, and fear with a wish. You defeat them with decision. Purpose begins with a decision. Elijah stood on Mount Carmel and told a nation, how long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. How long will you waver? How long will you postpone? How long will you sit on your gift with excuses? The question God asked, the hesitant heart is always how long? Because indecision is the proof of fear. Joshua said it again, choose you this day whom you will serve. Choose. Not next year, not when your bank account looks better, not when your family finally agrees. Choose this day. Because destiny is not a journey of feelings. Destiny is a journey of choices. Some of you are waiting for confidence before you move. But confidence does not come before obedience. Confidence comes after obedience. You walk, then you gain courage. You speak, then you gain boldness. You start, then you gain momentum. God told Abraham, get out of your country to a land I will show you. Notice he didn't show him first. He said, go and I will show you. Revelation follows movement. Light follows steps. The Red Sea didn't split until Moses raised the rod. Jordan didn't open until the priest stepped in. So stop waiting for a miracle while sitting still. Miracles follow motion. Therefore, I'm calling you today to break agreement with delay, break agreement with convenience, break agreement with fear. Tell fear, you are not my master. Tell convenience, you are not my God. Tell delay, you are not my clock, because your purpose is too important to be postponed. And your gift is too valuable to die with you. If you allow these enemies to rule you, you will arrive at your funeral with heaven's property still in your spirit. And I came to make sure that does not happen. Now let me teach you something from nature that God hid there to explain your life. Because the Creator is so wise that he preaches sermons through animals, and if you are humble enough to watch creation, you will learn how heaven trains destiny. There is a principle in the eagle that has rescued me many times, and it will rescue you if you listen. Comfort is seasonal, safety is temporary. The nest is not your home, the nest is your training ground. And when you stay in a place beyond the season God designed it for, what was once a blessing turns into a burden. What was once a pillow becomes a thorn. The eagle builds a nest high in the cold cleft of a mountain. She lines it with twigs, then cloth, then straw, then softness, and the young eagles grow there in warmth. The nest is safe. The nest is familiar. The nest is comfortable. But the nest is not the goal. The goal is the sky. The nest is preparation for wings, not a substitute for wings. And when the eaglets are grown enough to fly, something strange happens. The same mother that fed them, protected them, cuddled them, begins to destroy the nest. She tears away the softness until the sharp thorns underneath are exposed. Why? Because the young eagles have become addicted to comfort, and comfort is the enemy of flight. If they remain comfortable, they will never discover their wings. So the mother makes the nest uncomfortable on purpose. Now I want you to hear me. God deals with you the same way. The Father will never let your comfort become your coffin. The Father will never let your nest become your grave. That's why some of you are experiencing thorns in places that used to feel safe. Your job that once felt stable now feels tight. Your routine that once felt secure now feels empty. Your relationships that once felt easy now feel heavy. And you're asking God, what is happening to me? But maybe you are not under attack. Maybe you are under instruction. Maybe God is not removing you. Maybe God is repositioning you. Maybe God is not punishing you. Maybe God is pushing you. Because thorns are not always a sign of Satan. Thorns are often a sign of season change. Let me prove it to you in scripture. When Israel got comfortable in Egypt, they stopped dreaming. So God allowed Pharaoh's pressure to increase. Why? Not to destroy them, to deliver them. You see, pressure is God's tool to break your attachment to nests. He told them, I have seen the affliction of my people, and I have come down to deliver them. But deliverance didn't come through comfort, it came through discomfort. And if you don't interpret discomfort correctly, you will miss your moment. You think God has left you when God is lifting you. You think God is against you when God is advancing you. Jesus said, no one puts new wine into old wineskins or the wineskin will burst. In other words, God will not pour your next level into your current comfort. He has to change the container. That means sometimes God has to make your present situation too small for your future. He has to make it itch. He has to make it sting. He has to make you restless. Why? Because restlessness is the announcement of a new altitude. The eagle doesn't fly because she read about flying. She flies because the nest became unbearable. The thorns preach louder than the comfort. Now, I want to speak to the person who feels like life is scraping you right now. The scraping may be mercy. The frustration may be God saying, you have outgrown this level. The boredom may be heaven whispering, you were not born to stay here. The conflict may be a signal that your season is shifting. Paul said it this way, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forward to those things which are ahead. Why would Paul say reach? Because your future is not in your nest. Your future requires stretch. It requires risk. It requires flight. Let me say it plainly. You cannot fulfill a dream part-time forever. You cannot carry a calling as a hobby. There comes a time when the part must become whole. There comes a time when God will say, enough preparation now, manifestation. That doesn't mean you quit rashly. No, the eagle stays in the nest until she can't stay there anymore. But when she can't stay there anymore, she doesn't stay. Because if you keep sitting on thorns after God has exposed them, you are resisting your own promotion. So I want you to ask yourself today, what nest have you confused for destiny? What comfort have you called purpose? What place are you staying in just because it is familiar while your wings are screaming for the sky? The thorns are talking to you. They are saying, fly now, not because God hates you, because God believes in what he put in you. The mother eagle does not tear the nest for amusement. She tears it because she sees the sky in the child. In the same way, God will disturb what you have settled for because he has already seen what you were born for. And here's the good news. You will not be pushed out to die. You will be pushed out to discover that you can fly. The wilderness is not your funeral. It is your classroom. The storm is not your sentence. It is your elevator. The thorns are not your end. They are your exit. So thank God for the thorns. They are proof that your season of flight has arrived. Now, watch this carefully, because this is where the message becomes personal. This is where the Holy Spirit stops talking to the crowd and starts talking to you. The reason you must fly is not for your ego. The reason you must leave the nest is not for your reputation. The reason you must obey your purpose is because you are carrying something that does not belong to you. You are carrying heaven's property. God deposited gifts in your spirit the way a farmer puts seed in the ground. And God does not sow seed to decorate soil. He sows seed to harvest fruit. That means your potential is not a private possession. It is a public demand. Your gift is your assignment to humanity. Your talent is the answer to a need on earth. And if you die with it inside you, you have robbed your generation. Let me say it again so it settles. Your gift is not for you. Your gift is for service. Every time God gives a person an ability, he attaches to that ability a responsibility. That is why Peter says, as each one has received a gift, minister it to one another as good stewards of the manifold grace of God. A steward is not an owner. A steward manages what belongs to someone else. So when you refuse to release what's inside you, you are not just being shy, you are being a bad steward. You are mismanaging divine investment. Heaven invested in you because heaven expects a return through you. Now listen, the greatest tragedy in life is not that you didn't have much. The greatest tragedy is that you had much and gave little. You cannot claim poverty when God has already put riches in you. The poorest man in the world is not the man without money, it is the man without a dream. And the most frustrated man is not the man with no opportunity, it is the man with a dream that he keeps postponing. God never intended for potential to live in you like furniture. Potential is supposed to become production. Potential is supposed to become contribution. Potential is supposed to become impact. Jesus taught this with a terrifying clarity. He said in John 15, every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he takes away. And every branch that bears fruit, he prunes that it may bear more fruit. In other words, heaven does not reward intention. Heaven rewards fruit. You see, leaves are beautiful, but leaves are not the purpose of a tree. The purpose of a tree is fruit, and fruit is not for the tree. Fruit is for the hungry. That means you were not created to look good. You were created to feed somebody. You were not created to just exist. You were created to solve a problem. You were not created to just attend church. You were created to advance a kingdom. So when I say die empty, I mean this. I want you to use up everything God put in you. I want you to spend your life like currency until there is nothing left to spend. I want you to exhaust your gift in your generation. I want you to pour your ideas into the earth. I want you to empty your vision into your community. I want your books to be written, your songs to be sung, your business to be built, your children to be raised right, your ministry to be released, your apology to be made, your forgiveness to be granted, your courage to be proven. Because you will never be fulfilled until what is in you gets out of you. Paul understood this. That is why he could say, I am already being poured out like a drink offering. Poured out, not stored up, not protected. Poured out. He gave his life away to his assignment. And when he was done, he could say, I have finished my course. Not I have survived. Not I have retired. Finished. Completion is the language of purpose. And that is why Jesus, before he breathed his last, said, it is finished. He didn't say, I am tired. He didn't say, I tried. He said, finish. That is the goal of every believer, to finish what heaven sent you to do. Now, may I challenge you? Your life is like a book. And every day you live, you write a page. But the book is not for the paper. The book is for the reader. So who is reading your life? Is your life telling a story of fear or of faith? Of postponement or of obedience? Of comfort or of contribution? You don't have to be perfect to be productive. You just have to be willing. God does not call the qualified. He qualifies the called. He told Moses, I will be with you. He told Jeremiah, don't say you are a child. He told Gideon, go in this might that you have. He told Joshua, be strong and courageous. In every case, the call came first and the confidence came after obedience. Therefore, stop waiting to feel ready. You are not going to feel ready. Purpose is bigger than your feelings. You move because God said move. You start because God said start. You speak because God said speak. You build because God said build. And as you obey, your capacity expands. The eagle doesn't discover his wings by studying them. He discovers them by jumping. So I'm asking you today, what is still locked up inside you? What truth are you still swallowing? What dream are you still hiding? What assignment are you still delaying? Because the cemetery is not your destination. Your destiny is to pour out And if you will decide to die empty, heaven will back your decision with power. For Jesus said, whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. You don't find life by protecting it. You find life by releasing it. That is the kingdom paradox. Lose yourself in purpose and you will find yourself in fulfillment. Now, I know some of you are saying, all right, Dr. Munroe, I hear you. I feel the fire. But what do I do when I leave here? How do I stop dying full? And I'm glad you asked, because the kingdom of God is not just inspiration, it is instruction. God is not only a God of vision, he is a God of steps. Faith without works is dead, and dreams without discipline are just fantasies. So let me give you some practical principles to start draining your cemetery account, because I want you to live in such a way that death cannot steal any more of heaven's property out of you. First, write the vision, not in your head on paper. Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision and make it plain so that he may run who reads it. Notice, you cannot run with a vision you never wrote. Many of you are tired because your vision is vague. The moment purpose meets paper, it becomes a plan. The moment it is written, it can be pursued. So I want you to get a notebook, get a journal, get a page, and write what God put in you. Write the dream, write the assignment. Write what you keep seeing when you pray, because if you don't put it on paper, you will keep carrying it as a burden instead of building it as a future. Second, focus on one thing. The eagle sees everything, but he focuses on one thing. This is a kingdom secret. The enemy of greatness is not failure, it is distraction. Some of you are doing 10 things, chasing 5 dreams, starting 3 directions, and wondering why nothing is happening. Jesus said to Martha, you are worried and troubled about many things, but one thing is needed. One thing, one target, one assignment. You must decide what season you are in and what prey you are hunting. Because a man who chases everything catches nothing. So ask God, what is the one thing you want me to do now? Then give it your full attention. Third, feed your purpose. Live food. Eagles don't eat dead meat. They don't live on yesterday's carcass. They demand fresh nourishment. And if you are going to keep your dream alive, you cannot feed it with dead conversation, dead environments, dead relationships, dead thinking. Romans 12:2 says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Renewal is daily. You don't renew your mind once a year. You renew it every day. That means watch what you listen to. Watch what you watch. Watch who you sit with. Because your dream is a living thing, and if you starve it, it will die quietly inside you. Surround yourself with living words, scripture, teaching, mentors, books, people of faith. Let your mind become a greenhouse for your destiny. Fourth, act before you feel ready, because you will never feel ready. Feelings are terrible leaders. God did not tell Peter, feel confident and then step out of the boat. He said, come. And Peter stepped on the word, not on his feelings. The Red Sea didn't split until Moses lifted the rod. Jordan didn't open until the priest stepped in. In the kingdom, obedience produces evidence. So stop waiting for perfect conditions. Ecclesiastes says, he who observes the wind will not sow, and he who regards the clouds will not reap. If you keep checking conditions, you will never plant the seed. Start now. Start small if you must, but start, because momentum is the reward of movement. Fifth, test before you trust. Don't waste your destiny on casual people. Even Jesus, the Son of God, did not pour his vision into everybody. He chose 12, then 3, then 1. Why? Because you cannot build purpose with pigeons. Give people responsibility and watch what they do with it. Let time reveal character. The eagle tests the mate with the twig. You test partners, friends, and collaborators with assignments. Not out of suspicion, but out of wisdom. Purpose is too precious to be carried by people who have no commitment to their own vision. 6, schedule your assignment. Now, some of you spiritual people may not like this point, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. Purpose does not manifest by prophecy alone. It manifests by planning. Jesus said, which of you intending to build a tower does not first sit down and count the cost? Greatness is not an accident. Greatness is engineered. So put your dream on your calendar. Give it a time in your week. Give it a place in your day. If you don't schedule your purpose will become your spare time hobby, and spare time dreams end up in graveyards. Seventh, declare war on procrastination. Procrastination is a spiritual disease. It is the arrogant assumption that you control time, but your days are numbered and only God knows the count. Psalm 90 says, teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Wisdom is urgency with direction, not panic, urgency. You must start treating your life like a mission, because it is. Every morning you wake up, heaven has given you another day of capital. Invest it. Don't waste it. Don't spend it on what doesn't matter. Now, if you will begin to do these things, write, focus, feed, act, test, schedule, and fight procrastination, you will feel something shift inside you. You will begin to drain the cemetery account. You will begin to pull your gift out of the grave before it gets buried. And little by little, your life will stop being a storage unit for potential and start becoming a marketplace for purpose. And I want to remind you, you don't have to do it alone. The same God who authored your purpose will empower your pursuit. Philippians 2:13 says, it is God who works in you both to will and to do for his good pleasure. That means God gives you the desire and the ability. Your job is to obey. His job is to supply. So get up, pick up your pen, set your target, and move. Because the cemetery is waiting, but not for you. It's waiting for your leftovers. And I came to make sure it gets nothing. Now, let me press this into your spirit. Because some of you are inspired, but not yet convinced. And inspiration without conviction becomes entertainment. I want you to understand something. Time is not neutral. Time is not a background decoration while you figure out life. Time is a force. Time is a judge. Time is either your ally or your assassin, depending on how you treat it. That's why Moses prayed. So teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Number our days. Not our years, days. Because your life is not made of years, it is made of days, and you spend them one at a time. And every day is a piece of capital. Heaven hands you in the morning and asks you a question at night. What did you invest today? You see, time is the only currency you spend without knowing your balance. You don't know how many more mornings you have. You don't know how many more breaths are assigned to you. That's why procrastination is arrogance. Procrastination is the assumption that you control tomorrow, but tomorrow is not yours. James said, you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we shall live and do this or that. In other words, the power over time belongs to God, not to you. And if you keep negotiating with your calling, time will finish its assignment while you avoid yours. Your clock doesn't care about your fear. Your calendar doesn't slow down because you're confused. So when you delay purpose, you are not delaying an idea, you are delaying a harvest your generation needs. Let me say something that might offend you, but will save you. You cannot pray against what you are refusing to obey. Some of you are praying, Lord, open doors, while God is saying, walk to the door I already opened. You are begging for direction, and heaven is saying, you already know what to do, do it. That's why Elijah's question is still God's question to many believers. How long will you limp between two opinions? How long will you be half committed? How long will you keep one foot in the nest and one foot in the sky? How long will you keep editing the dream to fit your comfort? Because limping is not a kingdom style of walking. In the kingdom, you either follow or you don't. You either obey or you delay. And delay is disobedience wearing polite clothes. Now, I want you to see this. The devil does not fear your potential. He fears your release. You can have a dream in your heart for 30 years and Satan will let you sleep peacefully because a dream that stays inside you is harmless. But the day you start writing it, building it, speaking it, risking for it, all of hell gets nervous. Why? Because you have moved from intention to manifestation. And that's why you must not measure your life by your comfort, but by your contribution. John 9:4 records Jesus saying, I must work the works of him who sent me while it is day. The night is coming when no one can work. He said, must, again that word, must. And he tied must to time while it is day. That means purpose has a deadline. There is a day for assignment and a night when assignment ends. Don't wait for night. Work while it is day. Some of you are saying, but I'm not ready. Listen to me. Readiness is not a prerequisite for obedience. Obedience is a path to readiness. If you wait until you feel ready, you will die waiting. God does not call the ready. God calls the willing. And the willing become ready by walking with him. Abraham was not ready, but he left. Moses was not ready, but he went. Esther was not ready, but she stood up and said, if I perish, I perish. David was not ready, but he ran toward Goliath. Readiness is produced in motion. Courage is born in conflict. Faith grows in the storm. And God has already placed in you what you need for the next step, not for the next 10 steps, for the next one. Your word is a lamp to my feet. David said, a lamp for the feet, not a floodlight for the future. God gives light for steps, and steps unlock more light. Let me bring this home. You don't have time to keep rehearsing your dream. You don't have time to keep explaining your calling to people who don't respect it. You don't have time to keep burying your gift because somebody once criticized you. Your generation is moving. Your children are watching. Your destiny is waiting, and time is passing. Paul said, redeem the time because the days are evil. Redeem it. Buy it back. That means stop donating your days to distractions. Stop giving your hours to things that don't matter. If it won't matter in eternity, it's too expensive to pay for with your life. So I'm calling you to urgency, not panic, urgency. A calm determination that says, I will not die with this inside me. A sober fire that says, I will run my race with purpose. A kingdom mentality that says, I have an assignment and I will finish it, because the cemetery is not waiting for you to arrive with your dreams still intact, and I refuse to let that happen to you. Time is not neutral, my friend. Time is a conveyor belt. It is taking you somewhere every day. And the question is, are you carrying your purpose on that belt, or are you letting it fall off behind you? Decide today, not next year, not after another conference, today. Because a seed kept in your hand never becomes a harvest. It has to go into the ground of obedience. And if you will obey now, heaven will accelerate what you thought would take 10 years. God can do more in one season of obedience than you can do in a lifetime of delay. Now, let me close this the way heaven intends it to close. Not with emotion, but with a decision, because a message that doesn't produce movement becomes a memorial. And I didn't come to build a memorial in your mind. I came to ignite a revolution in your life. You have heard today that the cemetery is rich, not because of what people carried, but because of what they refused to release. You have heard that purpose precedes production, that you were in the mind of God before you were in the womb of your mother, that you are not an accident, but an assignment. You have heard that delay, convenience, and fear are enemies of destiny, and that God will even expose thorns in your nest to push you toward your wings. You have heard that your gift is heaven's investment and humanity's hope, and that time is not neutral. So here's the question that remains. And it is the only one that matters. What will you do with what God put in you? Not next year, not when you feel better, not when everybody agrees. What will you do now? Because the kingdom does not respond to intention, it responds to obedience. And I want to declare something over you. If you will obey God, if you will move on your assignment, if you will take the next step, even with trembling knees, he will meet you in the air. The Red Sea still opens for people who walk forward. The Jordan still parts for people who step in. The walls of Jericho still fall for people who march in faith. And Goliath still drops for people who refuse to stay in the camp with excuses. Do not insult the grace of God by living beneath what he designed you to be. Do not dishonor the blood of Jesus by burying the gift he died to restore. You are not redeemed to be safe. You are redeemed to be sent. Jesus said, as the Father has sent me, so send I you. Sent people don't sit in nests. Sent people don't negotiate with fear. Sent people don't wait for permission from pigeons. Sent people soar. Sent people produce. Sent people pour out. And I want you to make this vow before the Lord in your heart. I will die empty. Not empty of joy, but empty of unused potential. Empty of unspoken truth. Empty of unwritten songs. Empty of unbuilt dreams. empty of withheld love, empty of delayed obedience, so that when your time comes, and it will come, you can say like Paul, I have finished my course. You can say like Jesus, it is finished. You can lift your hands to heaven with peace and say, Father, I gave my generation everything you gave me. That is success. That is fulfillment. That is what it means to live in the kingdom. So go back to your life with urgency. Go back to your calling with courage. Go back to your dream with discipline. And when the storm rises, don't run from it, ride it. When the thorns prick you, don't curse them, thank God for the push. When you feel afraid, don't bow to fear, speak to it. Tell it, you are not my master. And remember, the cemetery will not get your treasure. Your world will get it. Your family will get it. Your city will get it. Your generation will get it. Because you were born to deliver something that only you can deliver. May the Lord bless you with clarity of purpose. May he strengthen your wings. May he surround you with the right eagles. May he give you endurance to finish and boldness to begin. And as Isaiah declared, so I declare over you today, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Go and mount up. Go and run your race. Go and finish your assignment. And when you are done, leave this planet empty and step into eternity fulfilled.